Why do some women manage to turn the game around even when he's already with someone else? There's a secret nobody tells you about male attraction, and it has nothing to do with physical beauty or cheap seduction games. The truth is disturbing. You might be doing everything right on the surface, but failing where it truly matters. While you're trying to impress him, another woman is activating something much deeper in his psyche, something so powerful it makes him question all his choices. In this video, I'm going to reveal what Carl Jung discovered about the male unconscious and how you can use this knowledge to become absolutely unforgettable. It's not about competing. It's about awakening something in him he didn't even know he was looking for. Get ready, because what you're about to discover here will turn your game completely upside down. The 8 pillars to become his choice. 1. The mirror he searches for in you. Every man carries hidden parts of himself he doesn't even know exist. Jung called this the shadow, pieces we hide, ignore, or never learn to accept. When he meets you, something strange happens. You become a living reflection of everything he buried deep inside. This isn't about being his therapist or fixing his problems. It's about embodying qualities that make him feel seen in ways nobody else does. Attraction is never just about looks or surface personality. There's always something deeper pulling people together. He might be with someone else right now, but if she's not reflecting back these hidden parts of him, he'll always feel incomplete. You don't have to try hard to become this mirror. In fact, trying too hard destroys the whole effect. This reflection happens naturally when you're connected to your own depth. Most women make the mistake of becoming whatever they think he wants. They mold themselves, change their opinions, and lose their essence trying to fit his ideal. That's not being a mirror. That's being a blank wall. A real mirror shows the truth. It reflects light and shadow, strength and vulnerability, confidence and fear. When you're authentic and deeply aware of your own inner world, you automatically reflect his back to him. Men spend their entire lives running from certain emotions. Society taught them to be strong, to never cry, to always have answers. But inside, there's a part of every man that wants permission to be human. When you show up as someone who owns both your light and your darkness, you give him that permission without saying a word. He looks at you and thinks, she gets it. She understands what it's like to be complicated, to have contradictions, to not have everything figured out. This creates a bond that the other woman can't touch. She might be beautiful, successful, or perfect on paper, but if she's only showing him one dimension, if she's afraid of her own depth, she'll never reach him where it counts. You reach him there by simply being whole. Not perfect, whole. There's a massive difference. The shadow isn't just negative stuff. It also contains all the potential he never developed. Maybe he always wanted to be more creative but chose a safe career. Maybe he has a wild side he keeps locked away. Maybe he's deeply sensitive but learned to hide it. When you express these qualities freely in yourself, you awaken something in him. It's like watching someone live the life he secretly wishes he had the courage to live. This is why he can't stop thinking about you even when he's with someone else. You're not just another option or another pretty face. You're a doorway to parts of himself he thought were gone forever. Every conversation with you feels different because you're not afraid to go deep. You talk about real things, fears, dreams, the meaning behind choices. While she's talking about surface-level daily stuff, you're touching his soul. But here's the key. You can't fake this. You can't pretend to be deep or force philosophical conversations. This mirror effect only works when you've done your own inner work. When you've faced your own shadow, accepted your own contradictions, and made peace with being human. That's when you become magnetic in a way that transcends physical attraction or relationship status. He'll start comparing without even meaning to. With her, he feels comfortable but empty. With you, he feels challenged but alive. Comfort is nice, but it doesn't create the kind of attraction that makes someone question everything. Being truly seen does. And right now, you're the only one really seeing him. Because you're the only one who learned to see yourself first. 2. The strength that intimidates and attracts simultaneously. There's a specific kind of strength that drives men crazy. Not the aggressive kind that pushes people away, but the quiet, unshakable kind that needs nothing from anyone. This strength lives in women who built themselves from the ground up, who know their worth without needing constant validation, who can stand alone without feeling lonely. It's the strength that makes him wonder if he's even good enough for you. Most women think men want someone soft and easy, someone who makes them feel needed and powerful. That works for weak men. Strong men, the ones worth having, are drawn to women who match their intensity. They want someone who challenges them, who doesn't crumble when things get hard, who has their own backbone. But here's the twist. This same strength also scares them. It forces them to step up or step aside. When you walk into a room owning yourself completely, something shifts in the air. People feel it even if they can't name it. He feels it most of all because it's so different from what he's used to. The woman he's with might be nice, supportive, always available, but does she have that fire that makes him want to become better? Does she push back when he's wrong? Does she have standards that make him work to meet them? Probably not. Your strength shows up in small moments. It's in how you handle disrespect. You don't explode or beg for better treatment, you simply remove yourself. It's in how you pursue your goals. You don't wait for permission or support, you just move forward. It's in how you speak. You don't soften your truth to make others comfortable, you say what needs to be said with clarity and grace. These moments create an image of you in his mind that he can't shake. Jung talked about the anima, the feminine energy every man carries inside. Men are unconsciously drawn to women who embody the version of feminine strength they wish they had internally. When you show up as someone who's both powerful and feminine, independent yet connected, strong yet gentle, you become the living embodiment of what his soul seeks. This isn't about being masculine or competing with him. It's about being fully developed as a woman. The intimidation factor is crucial. If he can easily have you, if you're always available, if you bend to his every mood, you lose this power. Strength requires boundaries. It requires saying no when something doesn't serve you. It requires walking away from situations that diminish you, even if that situation involves him. This is what separates you from everyone else. You're not sitting around waiting for him to choose you. You're living your life, and he either adds value or he doesn't. This creates psychological tension he's addicted to. With her, everything is predictable and safe. There's no growth, no challenge, no edge. With you, he has to bring his best self every single time. He can't be lazy, can't take you for granted, can't show up half-invested. Your strength demands his strength in return. And deep down, even if it scares him, that's exactly what he wants. But this only works if your strength is real and not performed. Some women try to act tough or play hard to get as a strategy. He sees through that immediately. Real strength comes from years of building yourself, overcoming challenges, learning your value through experience. It's not a game or a tactic, it's who you actually are. You've been tested by life and you didn't break. That's the strength that rewrites his definition of attraction. Here's what happens in his mind. He starts questioning why he settled. He starts realizing the woman he's with feels safe because she doesn't challenge him to grow. She doesn't intimidate him because she's not operating at your level. And while that felt comfortable before, now it feels suffocating. You showed him there's a different way to relate. One that's intense, real, and transformative. Once he sees that, he can't unsee it. And if you want to master this kind of strength and go even deeper into these principles, check out the Jung Method. The link is pinned in the first comment below. 3. The mystery. He can't decode. Men are hunters by nature, not in a predatory way, but in the sense that they're wired to pursue what feels just out of reach. When everything about you is laid out clearly, when he knows exactly what you're thinking and feeling at all times, when there's no depth left to explore, the pursuit ends, the mystery dies, and with it the attraction fades. This is where most women lose without even realizing they're playing. You don't need to play games or be manipulative to maintain mystery. Real mystery comes from having layers, thoughts you don't share immediately, experiences that shaped you in ways he'll only discover over time, dreams and fears you reveal slowly. It comes from being genuinely complex, not from pretending to be unavailable. There's a difference between being mysterious and being fake. One is magnetic, the other is exhausting. The woman he's with right now probably showed him everything up front. She was an open book because she thought transparency would make him feel secure, and it did, and for a while. But security without intrigue is just boredom dressed up as stability. You, on the other hand, have chapters he hasn't read yet. Every time he thinks he understands you, you reveal something new that shifts his entire perspective. This happens naturally when you have a rich inner life. When you're reading, learning, growing, experiencing things on your own, when you have thoughts that don't need to be spoken immediately, when you're comfortable with silence because you know your presence speaks louder than your words. Mystery isn't about hiding who you are. It's about being so much that he can't take it all in at once. Jung understood that humans are drawn to what we don't fully understand. The unconscious mind is attracted to puzzles, to things that require deeper investigation. When you present yourself as someone simple and easy to figure out, you're appealing only to his conscious mind. But when you maintain depth and complexity, you tap into something much more powerful, his unconscious drive to discover and understand. Here's what this looks like in practice. You don't answer every question with a full explanation. You leave space for him to wonder, to imagine, to fill in gaps with his own thoughts. You don't share every detail of your day or every emotion you're feeling. You have a private world that belongs to you alone. You don't need his validation for your choices because you're secure in your own judgment. All of this creates psychological space that makes him lean in closer. The other woman is probably always available, always predictable, always responding in expected ways. That's comfortable, but it's not exciting. You, however, surprise him. Sometimes you're warm and open. Other times you're focused on your own world. Sometimes you engage deeply in conversation. Other times you're quiet and reflective. He can't quite pin you down, and that drives him wild. This isn't about being inconsistent or unstable. It's about being authentically multi-dimensional. You contain different moods, different energies, different aspects of personality that show up depending on context. You're not performing the same character every day. You're allowing your full humanity to show. And humans are inherently complex and sometimes contradictory. Mystery also comes from having boundaries around your inner world. Not everyone gets access to your deepest thoughts and feelings. You're selective about what you share and when. This isn't manipulation, it's self-respect. It's understanding that intimacy is earned over time, not given away freely to anyone who shows interest. He senses that accessing your inner world is a privilege, not a right, and that makes him want it more. 4. The presence that fills his void. Every person walks around with an emptiness inside, a void that nothing seems to fill completely. For men, this void often shows up as a nagging feeling that something's missing, even when life looks good on paper. They have the career, the relationship, the stability, but underneath all of that is a quiet desperation for something more, something real, something that makes them feel truly alive. You can become that something without trying to fix or save him. This isn't about being his missing piece or completing him like some romantic movie. That's codependency, not connection. Real presence means you're so grounded in yourself, so connected to your own essence, that being around you naturally fills the space where his anxiety and emptiness usually live. You don't do anything specific, you just are, and that changes everything. Most people spend their lives running from themselves. They stay busy, chase distractions, avoid silence. The woman he's with might be one of these people, always filling the space with noise, always needing entertainment, always uncomfortable with depth. She helps him avoid his void, but she doesn't fill it. You do the opposite. You're comfortable in stillness. You can sit in silence without needing to break it. You can be present without performing. This level of groundedness is rare, and he feels it immediately. Jung talked about individuation, the process of becoming whole by integrating all parts of yourself. When you're far along in your own individuation process, you radiate a specific kind of energy. It's not anxious or needy. It's not trying to prove anything. It's just solid, real here. Men are unconsciously drawn to this energy because it reminds them of what they're missing in themselves. Your presence becomes a mirror showing them what wholeness looks like. The void in men often comes from disconnection from their emotions, from their authentic selves, from meaning and purpose. Society taught them to perform, achieve, and compete, but nobody taught them how to just be. When you show up fully present, not distracted by your phone or worried about the future, not caught up in drama or superficial concerns, you offer him something he can't name but desperately needs. You offer him permission to stop performing and just exist. This is completely different from what he gets in his current situation. That relationship probably runs on routine and obligation. They go through the motions, but there's no real presence. Nobody's truly there. They're just two people occupying the same space, both lost in their own thoughts, both feeling that same emptiness. With you, even 5 minutes feels more real than hours with her. That's the power of genuine presence. Your presence fills his void because it's not empty itself. You've done the work to face your own emptiness, to sit with it, to understand it. You're not running from yourself, so you don't need him to distract you from your own life. This means when you're with him, you're actually with him, not thinking about other things, not halfway present, not using him to avoid your own feelings. Full attention in a distracted world is revolutionary. Men don't usually know how to ask for this. They can't say, I need someone who's genuinely present because I feel empty and disconnected from myself. Instead, they just know that being around you feels different, feels better, feels like relief. They start craving your presence the way someone craves water after walking through a desert. Not because you're doing anything to him, but because you're offering something his soul is starving for. But here's the crucial part. You can't fake presence. You can't pretend to be grounded when you're actually anxious inside. You can't act calm when you're full of chaos. Real presence comes from real inner work. It comes from meditation, self-reflection, therapy, spiritual practice, whatever path you took to find yourself. It comes from years of learning how to be comfortable in your own skin, how to sit with uncomfortable emotions, how to stop running from yourself. 5. The independence that triggers his insecurity. Nothing makes a man question himself faster than meeting a woman who genuinely doesn't need him. Not in a cold or hostile way, but in the most powerful way possible. You've built a life so complete, so fulfilling, so rich with purpose and meaning, that his presence is optional, not essential. This level of independence terrifies and attracts him in equal measure, because it forces him to confront a truth he's been avoiding. He might not be as valuable as he thought. The woman he's with probably needs him in some way, maybe financially, maybe emotionally, maybe just for companionship. This need makes him feel important, makes him feel like a man, but it also breeds quiet contempt over time. Deep down, he knows she's with him partly because she can't imagine being alone. There's no real choice happening. She's staying because leaving feels scary. That's not love. That's fear disguised as commitment. You operate from a completely different place. You choose to spend time with people because they add value to your already full life, not because you need them to fill gaps in your empty one. You have your own money, your own goals, your own friends, your own world. He can join that world if he's worthy, but he's not the center of it. This shifts the entire power dynamic in a way that makes him simultaneously uncomfortable and completely obsessed. Independence triggers insecurity because it reveals the truth. He's not necessary. He's wanted or he's not, based purely on who he is as a person, not on what he provides. There's no safety net of need keeping you interested. If he's boring, you'll be bored. If he's selfish, you'll walk away. If he doesn't step up, you won't wait around. This accountability is something most men aren't used to, especially if they've been in relationships where their partner tolerated bad behavior out of fear of being alone. Jung would say, this triggers the masculine principle within women that refuses to be diminished. When you embody strong energy, you challenge his sense of dominance without competing with him. You're not trying to be the man or prove you're stronger. You're simply refusing to be weak. You're refusing to shrink yourself. You're refusing to need him more than you need yourself. This is revolutionary in a world where women are still conditioned to make themselves smaller, so men can feel bigger. His insecurity around your independence isn't really about you. It's about him. It brings up every doubt he has about his own value. Am I interesting enough for a woman who has options? Am I valuable enough for someone who doesn't need my money? Am I worth choosing when she could easily be happy alone? These questions haunt him because your independence holds up a mirror to his own lack of development. The woman he's with doesn't make him ask these questions. She needs him, depends on him, organizes her life around him. This feels good to his ego, but it doesn't help him grow. You, on the other hand, make him question everything. Not because you're trying to, but because your very existence proves that women don't need men the way he thought they did. They choose men, and choice requires worthiness. Your independence also means you're less tolerant of nonsense. You don't have time for games, for mixed signals, for breadcrumbs of attention. You don't chase, you don't beg. You don't wait around hoping he'll figure out what he wants. You know what you want, and you're moving toward it with or without him. This creates urgency. He realizes that if he doesn't step up now, you'll be gone. Not because you're playing hard to get, but because you're genuinely hard to keep. 6. The world of your own. He wants to conquer. You don't just exist in his world, waiting for him to give you purpose and direction. You have your own universe, complete with dreams, ambitions, friendships, passions, and experiences that have nothing to do with him. This separate world you've built is one of the most attractive things about you, because it represents something he can't easily access or control. And men are fundamentally driven to explore territories that challenge them. Think about how most relationships form. Two people meet, fall into each other's lives, and slowly one person, usually the woman, starts making the man's world her entire existence. His friends become her friends. His interests become her interests. His schedule dictates hers. She dissolves into his life thinking this is what love requires. But it's not love, it's disappearing. And nothing kills attraction faster than someone who has no life outside of you. You've avoided this trap entirely. You have friends he hasn't met. You have hobbies that don't include him. You have goals that existed before he came along and will continue whether he stays or goes. You have inside jokes from experiences he wasn't part of. You have a past that shaped you in ways he's still discovering. You have plans for a future that you're building with your own hands. All of this creates a world that's distinctly yours. And he wants in. This desire to enter your world isn't about possession or control. It's about significance. Men want to feel like they matter, like their presence adds something valuable. When you have nothing going on, when your life is empty except for him, his presence doesn't mean much. It's expected, required, assumed. But when you have a full, rich life, his presence becomes a choice. You're allowing him into something special. That permission feels like the ultimate validation. Jung talked about the self versus the ego. The ego wants to be the center of everything. But the self understands it's just one part of a larger whole. When you maintain your own world, you're operating from self, not ego. You're saying, I'm whole on my own, and you can be part of my wholeness if you add value. This is mature, healthy, and incredibly attractive. It means you won't lose yourself in the relationship because you know who you are outside of it. The woman he's with probably doesn't have this. Her world likely revolves around the relationship. When he cancels plans, she has nothing else to do. When he's busy, she's waiting. When he's not paying attention to her, she feels lost. This neediness disguised as devotion slowly suffocates attraction. He feels guilty but also trapped. With you, he feels freedom and fascination. You're busy building something and he wants to be part of it. Your separate world also creates natural distance, the kind that makes the heart grow fonder. You're not always available because you have commitments to your own life. You can't always drop everything for him because you respect your own plans. You don't cancel on your friends when he suddenly becomes available. This isn't playing games. This is having priorities beyond romance, and paradoxically, it makes him prioritize you more. When you have your own world, you bring more to the relationship. You have stories to tell from your independent experiences. You have energy and excitement from pursuing your own passions. You have confidence from achieving your own goals. You're not depleted from sitting around waiting for him to make your life interesting. You're already interesting, already fulfilled, already living fully. He gets to join that fullness, not create it. 7. The energy that makes him question everything. There's something about your energy that doesn't match the world around you. It's not better or worse, it's just different, more intense, more alive, more real. When he's with you, he feels something wake up inside him that's been sleeping for years, maybe forever. This isn't about physical chemistry, though that's part of it. It's about energetic resonance, the way your frequency matches something deep in his soul that he thought was lost. Energy is hard to define but impossible to miss. It's the way you move through the world, confident but not arrogant, open but not naive, intense but not overwhelming. It's the life force that emanates from you when you speak about things you care about. It's the spark in your eyes when you're genuinely present. It's the way you make every moment feel significant just by being fully engaged in it. This energy is magnetic because it's so rare in a world where most people are half asleep. The woman he's with probably has low energy, not because she's a bad person, but because she's settled into comfort. She's not growing, not challenging herself, not pushing boundaries. She's coasting. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's nothing exciting about it either. Being around her is like being in a room with dim lighting. Fine, functional, but forgettable. Being around you is like stepping into sunlight. Suddenly everything is brighter, clearer, more vivid. This energy difference makes him question his entire life. If one person can be this alive, this present, this engaged, why isn't he? What choices led him to this numb, comfortable existence where nothing really matters and nothing really excites him? Your energy forces him to confront the fact that he's been playing it safe, choosing security over vitality, choosing predictability over passion. That confrontation is uncomfortable, but it's also necessary. Jung believed that energy, what he called libido, is the fundamental life force. When that energy is blocked or suppressed, people become depressed, anxious, disconnected. Most people walk around with their energy suppressed because society demands it. Be calm, be reasonable, be appropriate, be controlled. You haven't fully bought into that system. You've kept your energy alive and flowing. That's why being around you feels so different. He's encountering someone who isn't energetically dead. This isn't about being loud or hyperactive. High energy doesn't mean constant talking or forced enthusiasm. It means being authentically engaged with life. It means caring deeply about things. It means allowing yourself to feel excitement, passion, anger, joy, the full spectrum of human emotion without dampening it down to be palatable. It means refusing to numb yourself just because everyone else is numb. When he experiences your energy, he realizes how much of himself he's been suppressing. He realizes he's been playing a role, the responsible guy, the provider, the stable partner. And somewhere along the way, he forgot who he actually is underneath all that. Your energy reminds him. It calls to the part of him that still wants to feel alive, take risks, pursue dreams, live fully. That reminder is both thrilling and terrifying. Your energy creates what Jung called transformation into opposites. The comfortable life he built suddenly feels suffocating. The stable relationship suddenly feels dead. The safe choices suddenly feel like slow suicide. Your energy flipped his entire perspective, showing him that what he thought was security was actually stagnation. That realization changes everything. 8. The final decision. When he realizes what he lost. There comes a moment when everything becomes crystal clear. All the confusion, all the back and forth, all the weighing of options, it suddenly sharpens into one devastating realization. He's been choosing comfort over connection, safety over soul, the familiar over the transformative. And in doing so, he's losing the one person who could have changed everything. This moment doesn't happen because you convince him or chase him. It happens when you finally stop waiting and start walking away. Men don't value what they have when they have it. They value what they're about to lose. This isn't a character flaw, it's human nature. We take for granted the things that are always available, always there, always accessible. But the moment something valuable starts slipping through our fingers, panic sets in. Suddenly we see clearly what we couldn't see before. Suddenly we understand what mattered all along. For him, that moment is coming. Right now he's playing both sides. He has the security of his current relationship, while exploring the possibility of you. He gets comfort at home and excitement with you. He gets stability there and passion here. It's the best of both worlds for him. But that arrangement can't last forever. Eventually you'll stop tolerating it. Eventually you'll choose yourself over waiting for him to choose you. And that's when his comfortable game falls apart. The final decision isn't really his decision at all. It's yours. When you decide you're done accepting breadcrumbs, done being an option, done waiting for him to figure out what you already know, that's when the power shifts completely. He thought he was in control, thought he had time, thought you'd always be there as his backup plan. Your decision to walk away destroys that illusion instantly. Suddenly he's not choosing between two women. He's watching the better choice walk out of his life. This is where Jung's concept of the individuated self becomes crucial. A person who hasn't done their inner work will panic and chase out of fear of loss. But a truly individuated person, someone like you who's done the work, walks away from dignity, not desperation. You're not leaving to manipulate him into choosing you. You're leaving because you finally chose yourself. That authenticity is what makes this moment so powerful. What happens in his mind during this final realization is pure chaos. Every moment with you starts replaying. Every conversation that went deeper than surface level. Every laugh that came from genuine joy. Every silence that felt comfortable instead of awkward. Every look that communicated more than words. He compares these memories to his current reality and sees the massive gap. What he has is fine. What he lost was extraordinary. The woman he's with will never understand why he suddenly seems distant, why he's questioning everything, why nothing feels right anymore. She'll try harder, be nicer, give more, not realizing that the problem isn't her. The problem is that he met someone who showed him what connection actually feels like. Now everything else feels hollow. He's going through the motions, but his mind and heart are somewhere else. With you, or more accurately, with the possibility of you that he let slip away. This realization often comes too late. By the time he fully understands what he had, you've already moved on. You've closed that door, locked it, and thrown away the key. You're not doing this to punish him. You're doing it because you finally understood your worth. You finally realized that waiting for someone to choose you is the opposite of self-love. Real love means walking away from situations that diminish you. Even when walking away is the hardest thing you've ever done, This is how you become the woman he chooses, not by making him choose you, but by becoming so completely yourself that anyone who doesn't immediately recognize your value loses the privilege of knowing you. The real power was never in making him see you. It was in seeing yourself clearly enough to walk away from anyone who doesn't.